Okay, here I am. Okay, no problem. We're just showing quick. Okay. Congratulations. I was going to come here and, and your name is?
Brian Duplessis.
Brian Duplessis. I was going to come here and crash the damn thing, but you calmed me down. So what is this all about?
This is a consultation of people from various walks of life on looking at the priorities that need to be worked on in the poverty reduction plan. So it's put on by the Community Inclusion Network, which is one of the 12 networks set up around the province.
What does that mean?
There's an overall poverty reduction plan. And there was a corporation set up for that last year. There was 2,500 people took part in it. Out of that, they said, you know what, we're going to look at the province and divide it up into 12 areas and have people come together and look not just at the big picture poverty items, because the government has to do that, but you also want to say what locally can be worked on to reduce poverty for people living in poverty in those areas.
Ryan, would you say that poverty, and we know what happened to me there a few weeks ago, last month, sounds like it just happened yesterday, that the government should look at the Justice Department of really how the poor are being treated? But, you know, they don't have the right to a lawyer, and they sort of squeeze through the system, plead guilty, then you'll be out of here in 5 minutes, and they do plead guilty. And then they break the condition, then they end up in jail. Shouldn't that be an issue?
I've spoken out about that before, as I think you know, Charles, very clearly, that I think there are some fundamental flaws in the system that those who are living in poverty, those who have mental illness, those who have learning disabilities are at a tremendous disadvantage whenever they have to deal with the justice system. And too often, and more often than not, individuals who should not be in prison are in prison, which leads into the whole discussion about the federal crime bill that's being put in place. In contrast to what we know about the conditions of why people are in jail, of the amount of mental illness, of the overrepresentation of First Nations peoples in the prisons, we're now going to lengthen prison sentences, build more prisons at a time when when the crime rates are actually going down. All of these are part and parcel of the same thing. And it's just very puzzling, and it's frustrating, but it's very puzzling that those who would look at the fiscal challenges we face, the money challenges we face, would say it's okay to spend more money in this area to jail people than to put the money in place to keep people out of jail.
And you've never been in there?
I have visited people.
Have you visited the provincial jail in St. John?
I did.
Did you go in the unit?
I didn't go all the way into the unit. I had to go to see a client from another job that
I've been lucky. I was there. It's not pretty.
No, I certainly, because of the former work I did with the homeless shelters, as you know, I had unfortunate occasion, to talk to too many people who ended up down there. I talked to people who went there, and when you looked at the situation, the conditions, etc., that they were living in,
it's not good.
You say, this is not a good situation at all.
You can't even breathe in there. And they cut the medication. And I mean, the bottom line is there's nothing to do in there.
Well, I think that the point that you made about the medications from the time that you were there, I've also spoken out about that and said, you know what, that needs to be looked into. That's a serious situation, which whether it's widespread or whether it was isolated to your situation, I mean, I don't know. I know you faced it, but I think it should be looked into because it has serious implications that all of us should be concerned about.
Some people said that you would know. They said, they give you an inhaler, but it wasn't mine.
Well, I happen to be asthmatic, and I take a medication which is a medication which keeps my asthma under control, and I can tell you that even if I was given an alternative, I might become very anxious, and anxiety actually brings on asthma attacks. Yeah. Charles, I'm afraid I see that.
I see the person. So thank you very much. You're one of the few people that made me back down from going in there and speak my mind. But
well, I wouldn't like to think that I asked you back down. You know that you're also the only person that I've ever written about twice in my columns.
That's true.
So I think there's a little bit of what they call quid pro quo going.
And we don't want you to write a third one that it'll be bad, it'll be against me. And there's a lot of activists in here.
There's a lot of very, very good people in here.
Yeah, a lot of good people. So there's no need for me to call the Federal Police Force racist and all that. So
it's all good. It's always good to talk to you, Charles. We'll have to get together for a coffee or lunch soon.
Talk to you later.
Take care.
Thank you.